So a little bit of background on online learning journey here. So we started sort of creating online degree modules for about 2015, 2016 onwards. We've been doing lots of distance learning for about 160 years, but we moved into fully online about 2015, 16. So we revised our approach to this. We had a big expansion around 2019 where we increased the size of the team and we moved into this very design-led focus. We got learning designs in, we got videographers in, we got online content developers in to expand the team. And we adopted at that stage ABC learning design methodology. So is anybody here not familiar with ABC? Okay, good. Because I'm not intending to spend much time, virtually any time talking about ABC. We can talk about what we did after that. So it's been very successful, ABC. Okay. Undeniably successful. So since about 2015, 2016, we've developed about 160, 15 or 30 credit online modules. So about 10, 15 degrees worth of content in that time using ABC. And I give you a quote from an academic here, which is one I like because I think this is quite relevant. It's did it help me get valuable ideas for diversifying teaching activities that can be implemented in both online and on-campus teaching? Okay, all good. So why are we thinking of change, or why have we changed it, I should say? Not thinking, why did we decide to change it? Well, we decided to review anyway in 2023, so it was a good idea, good practice to look at what we do. Not just the methodology, but of course, behind methodology, there's a lot of process as well. So you want to look at both. So we conducted a learning design review early this year. So we engaged with academics, we engaged with our learning design team, one of them's in the room here because they're the ones who get their hands dirty with academics. We introduced module development feedback forms partway through the process, not from the beginning, unfortunately, but partway through. So we started getting feedback from academics on what they felt, and of course we have student feedback as well. And what we noticed, okay, some reoccurring themes in our approach. Now the first one, a little bit contentious, but I'll clarify and talk about academics. We have a lot of very, very good, obviously, University of London academics, very experienced, a lot of good online campus experience, a lot of them experience of developing some online courses, some hybrid courses, but there are very few who are experienced in developing fully online courses within the teams we're working with. I'm not saying that's completely within the Federation, but within the teams we were working with. Some of the feedback that we were getting from them is such, they felt that their contribution as teachers was diminished in this and their contribution as writing was increased, which is possibly true. And they have experience in developing activities for students in classrooms, collaboratively, synchronously, but actually just limited experience in many cases about developing asynchronous type activities that, that students could study independently. So they're also, some of them, again, quite actually inexperienced with the ABC methodology. It's not something they would use themselves on campus. How we work with our Federation members, so apologies, I should have introduced myself. I work for the University of London. I keep assuming because I'm in the same building I work every day, everyone knows. I'm actually from the University of London worldwide. So we work with Federation members to develop the online distance learning degrees. So how we work with our Federation members is, we work with faculties. They are time pressured, as you know. They have very limited time. They're doing their day jobs, and then they come and work with us to develop the online degrees separately. So we have limited time. We might need them for a briefing session. We might give them a workshop on ABC. Then we expect them to start work almost immediately. There's no go away and think, right, you've had your workshop now. Next week, you want to see some content coming in. It's really it's difficult for them. Obviously, it's a completely new way of working. It's very difficult. And the next point there, ABC is great, but it's a very loose framework. And one of the things, if you go to an ABC workshop, I suppose most of you have done the ABC workshops, you say that one of the things they emphasise is that there's no right way or wrong way. There's no, and if you're an academic and you're really time pressured and they say, so what do you want me to do? We say, whatever you want, there's no right way or wrong way. And they just go, no, tell me what to do. If you want to do it next week, tell me, where do I start? What do I put? Where's my first learning style? I want to sequence it, content first, da-da-da. And it they start, you can see in many cases, it's blank page syndrome. You've got a blank piece of paper in front of you. How do I start? It's difficult. They start to disengage early if you're not careful. This blank, and even if they do engage, you get inconsistencies because there's not one way of doing it. So even inconsistencies within a module, but definitely inconsistencies across programs because each person's starting differently, and that really affects the students if they progress. Module one and not to go to module two is completely different, and you're putting up barriers to learning. Then for the students, they have to sort of start and learn how to learn. So it has a good point, but that loose framework we felt was problematic. It becomes time consuming as well for academics. They've got to think, they've got to come up with ideas and think it through. And it's and this storyboard and this module design plan we asked them to, it almost universally takes them longer than they anticipated. So there's some of the reoccurring things. There were more, of course, but they're the big ones. So we needed something that we needed to simplify the model. We needed a tighter framework, a sequenced. I'm doing what I always do. I'm not paying any attention to my carefully written out notes here. Probably missing all sorts of stuff. So we needed something that was simple, structured, familiar, particularly something that was easy to explain, easy to digest, easy to start. Its underpins was obviously good sound academic theory, taking the best bits of ABC because we do like the learning activities, we do like the sequencing kind of approach to that, but we just want to make it simple. We wanted to, other things, we want to give them examples. That's the thing, like just show me, and then once I've got that, that's the inspiration I need. Because they all know how to teach, they just need to get going. So this is the University of London cafe model. It's content, activity, feedback, evaluation. Nice and simple. And it's got a very nice moniker. Sam can take the credit for the moniker. I'll take the credit for the work underneath, but that was his. And you can see there, and you can see below it the purpose of each of these structured stages: engage, explain, present, apply, feedback, reflection. And you can see within the activity section, that activity is not a specific activity, it could be multiple. This is where the 6 learning activities maybe, so you can come in, very useful there. And one of the things, again, that's a standard way, so we can present that and say, this is what we expect you to do, come up with some content, have an activity. But it's no reason why you couldn't go content activity with a feedback activity. It's just a starting point, very straightforward. And so as we as I say, you want to, the content part is here to engage, capture learners' attention. You explain why, what you're doing, what's the purpose, situate the course in the program, situate it in the real world, all these things you would normally do quite naturally. Then present your content with video, case studies, readings, etc. Apply, so provide opportunities to practice what you've just learned. That could be, could be through discussion, could be through collaboration, could be through practice, could be through investigation, all those learning activity types you're familiar with, if you know ABC. Feedback, assessment on the learner's progress, however you choose to do that, give some feedback, and then evaluate. So we say that reflection, other measures, you've got webinars, you've got surveys, etc. That evaluation process at the end. It's very simple, as I said, but it just gives you a starting point. And behind that, these are some of there was lots of process change. I won't go into all of them because obviously when you're changing it at this level, we actually removed the storyboard stage from this completely. Particularly when we do online, we're using it in Padlet, and if academics would never use Padlet, they were learning Padlet and then they only used it once and then they never used it again. It was just a lot of time for them to do it. So we stopped that storyboarding phase. We didn't find it useful. I don't think they found it useful, quite frankly. They never finished it. They might have storyboarded a topic or something, then they just, because the next stage we ask is for a module design plan, which is like a blueprint. And so they were just going straight to that module design plan. I think they found it more useful, particularly as they've now got a structure to work with. They don't need to think about the structure. Go to your module design plan, start with some content which covers those, but give us an and then then just builds it from that. So we removed that stage altogether. This is something we're still working on a little bit. We haven't quite got to this stage, but we actually now given them documentation that's laid out and asking them to fill in in that way, you know, we want to just refine it a little bit, I think, you know, just to and perhaps get some better technology to add sections in, but you know, because in Word you're just cutting and pasting rows of things like that. But that's where we want to get to on that one. Examples, exemplars, module examples as well. Show them stuff, show them stuff, show them stuff. That's what they want to see. That's what they ask for. Continually, repeatedly show. This is quite a big one. We've looked at our scheduling of how we schedule all this, although not, you know, not exciting from a learn design point of view, but it's very relevant to make sure people have got enough time to do things, and looking at where things that are done collectively or have a long time, making sure they're, you know, bringing them forward. So a classic example, one of the things is video production. Also, we have lots of videos in our content. We used to put that for after halfway, maybe 3/4 way through there. We move that as early as we possibly can because it takes time to prep. It takes time to do the scripts. It's one of the most time-consuming things. It's one of the things they find the hardest. So we've shifted that forward. It's collaborative stuff. It's them and us. It's got post-production. It's got a tail after they finish. So just things like that, just moving around the scheduling to make sure that there's sufficient time. And of course, obviously, we've updated all of our documentation. One of the things we did is we shifted all our documentation from Word into Moodle and or Coursera now. So when we say, here's a learning activity, you just put it on the screen. Here's an example of this, here's an example of that. And we've done both of those. And the exemplar modules can then be in with your documentation as well. Progress so far. Early days. Only finished this over the summer. We've got about 5 modules, new modules in development, 5 module redevelopments, which would be redevelopment plus is sort of 50% to 75%. So it's quite a big chunk of work. It's not an enhancement. So we are using the cafe model for those big pieces of work. And all I can say at the moment is positive feedback on both the methodology and the process. People find it simple, they understand it, has been easy to explain, and it is working. And the feedback I had very recently is the evaluation stage at the end was one of the what we know from an academic. They really like just putting that evaluation stage at the end and asking the students to confirm and test that they're happy with where they are before they move on.